Buddha.
T-Slay! Rags in the air, when we wake up. Rags in the air, rags in the air. Get this paper. Rags in the air, rags in the air. I bake the cake up. Rags in the air, rags in the air. I step my weight up. Rags in the air, rags in the air, rags in the air, rags in the air, rags in the air.
Your style, your story. Shop Forever Urban New York at www.funylifestyle.co. Save 20% off your entire purchase when using the promo code The T Show. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to The T Show. I am here with one of my hosts. I am here with one of my guests for episode 8, Aaron Burros. Make sure I'm pronouncing that right. Burros or Burris?
Burros.
Burros, sorry.
Yeah, it's the plural of burrow.
Say it again.
It's the plural of burrow.
Burrow?
Yeah, a burrow is a donkey or a jackass.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like borough, like the borough of Brooklyn.
Yeah, burrows, that is more than 2 or more jackasses or donkeys.
I like it. I see where you're going with it, so I love that already.
God has a sense of humor.
Always. The T Show, hosted by me, Tahyira Savannah, is a visual and storytelling platform honoring a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about creating change and leaving a space and a positive impact on the greater world at large. My guests come from diverse backgrounds and experiences, but they all share a common goal: using their talents and gifts, passion to make a big difference. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and activists, each guest brings a unique perspective and valuable insight to the T Show. Today I'm with Aaron Burros, which I just learned is the plural for a donkey's ass, who turned to running in 2009 to improve his health. Losing 175 pounds over several years, in 2015, he survived a near-fatal shooting while protecting coworkers, leaving him with PTSD. We are in Black Mental Health Awareness Month, or just Mental Health Awareness Month, but we're Black. PTSD, yes. And a bullet lodged in his body to reclaim his life and help others, like he did already. He launched a bold mission in 2001. Still very much in COVID.
Freeze.
He launched a bold mission in 2001.
I'm free.
He launched a bold mission in 2001, running 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 weeks to mark his 50th birthday. Now, I love numbers, and I'm just going to throw that out there. You got 5, so we're going to have to look that up, what 5, 5, 5s, and 5s in your life mean. It gives a vibe already. 50th birthday. Raising awareness for mental health, something that I also do in my everyday life as Tahyira Savannah. Please tell our audience, to start us off, where they can find your amazing book.
You can find my amazing book on Amazon. It's Metal Monday, Metal with a D, not metal with a T. Metal with a D, like medallion, like the gold medal from the Olympics and all that stuff.
Ooh,
so Metal with a D.
It.
It's on Amazon. My quest to do 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 weeks after surviving a workplace shooting where I was shot 5 times. And may I add, I was trying to raise $50,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital to benefit. You can also...
Your bio. That's very important and impressive.
Thank you. And also, if you like to get an autographed copy, all you got to do is hit me up on Instagram at The Running Servant, or on Facebook, DM me, Aaron Burros or The Running Servant. Either way, send me an email, aaronburros@yahoo.com, AARON as in Nancy, B as in blessed, U, R as in Robert, O as in Oscar, S as in Sam, at yahoo.com. Let me know you want an autographed copy, and I'll send you the information on how to get one. Or you can just come out to one of the events that I speak at expos, conferences, anything like that, I always post them on my Facebook, Instagram, where I'm going to be. So come and visit me. Let's chat it up. I like to rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. And if you got fear, I got faith. We can mix them together and take us both to the top.
Well, I mean, Aaron is in his intro and already gems are like, I'm like, I want to change questions, but we don't do that here. Amazing. We're going to link everything he said just in case you missed all that fabulousness. And I wanted to ask, did you come from corporate? Because that was you took me all the way back, like, and as in Nancy, A as in Apple. And I'm like, yes. Do you have a corporate kind of background?
Yes,
There you
I
go.
would, so actually I worked a corporate job and I really didn't do it before, but when I graduated college with my transformational leadership degree, I went into corporate America, and that's where I
They
ended up
clearly need
getting.
leaders in corporate America. Yeah,
Yes,
I
they
love that.
do.
You just took me back. I also come from a corporate background, business ownership, and now I'm working in nonprofits and education and stuff, activism. So I love it. We love to use the skills that we were getting paid big money. And I was like, I don't even do that, but like I still have this skill set. Launching us
Yes,
into
yes,
this conversation, recovery from any trauma is difficult.
yes, it is.
Anyone that's human. Can you share how your mindset specifically has helped you gain strength after surviving violence?
Well, let's just say I was not ready to die, even though I had conceded to die during the actual event because I was on my back, laying on the ground with my hands up, and the guy was standing over me with a rifle.
I'm sorry. I have to
And
interject as a person that studied crime. Could you
yes,
go a little bit deeper emotionally? Because I'm always a person that wants to try my best to put myself in a victim's shoes as close as possible.
yes.
Tell me
So
how you can
after,
emotionally share that, if you can.
well, I just resolved that I was going to be murdered at the moment. And
And what goes through your mind? Like your funeral? 'Cause that's what I think I would think.
no, well, actually, because I come from a corporate background, what went through my mind was my 401k, my
Uh-huh.
stock
Aaron,
options.
you gotta.
No, of course, none of that stuff
I
went
always
through
think
my
about my
mind.
funeral like, who's gonna come and say bye to me?
So I
Wow. Okay,
resolved that
interesting
I was
though.
going to be murdered. And I was like, God, is this what it's like before somebody murder you? I had peace surpassive all understanding. And I thought about my kids. I have 5 kids, 2 daughters, they're bookends, and in between 3 sons. And my youngest was 13 at the time. And my oldest was
Oh,
24, I'm sorry, at the time. So I was like, who's going to tell
take
them?
care of them. Yeah. That
I
nasty.
already knew
Yeah.
how each one of them was going to take it. And I was like, who's going to be there for them? That's all I was concerned about.
Dad of all dads, bro. I get that. I get that. Thank
Yes.
you for segueing there for us because I think there's a lot of people who I think have been in really deep, dark situations, violent based, and it's very hard to even have the bravery to talk about what that may feel like. A crazy person like me who studied crime always wants to like, I understand victim, I understand, I studied it, I learned it, I read books about it. So it's like I'm always trying to place myself as a rape victim, as a person as domestic violence, as a person that was in a mass shooting that survived, as a teacher is also part of my training with school shooting. So I want to, and it is something that you really have to feel like, what if this is not a drill
Yeah.
one of these days, like that is for real. So thank you for sharing that because violence is something that I don't think we discuss enough, like survival of it, because not all of it, it
No.
does sometimes make you stronger.
Freeze. Unfreeze.
What kind of conditioning changes?
Freezing again. There you go. You're unfreezing.
I got it.
Got it.
Can you share how your mindset helped you gain the strength after you told us about what happened? How did you get past this now?
Well, it was if I could, it was like the very best thing that happened was the fact that I got shot. Everything after that was a living nightmare and stuff I had never experienced before with PTSD, hallucination, anxiety that felt like my whole body was a funny bone, hypervigilance, fear that was paralyzing. I had depressive moods, would move from there, going to crying spells that last, uncontrollable crying spells, 2 to 4 hours at a time. I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep the first 10 days at all. I had sleep deprivation for about 7.5 years, but I got to the point where I had to have hope in God. One, I hoped in God, and I just knew that if I didn't die that night, it wasn't meant for me to die, but I was dying to live. And I remember I was on my couch laying there, and I said to myself, my son's going to come home from work one day and find me dead on his couch from depression and sadness. I have to fight to get my life back. I didn't know what that looked like at the time, but I knew that I had a fight in me. So I literally would go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee, and I would sit outside, and across the parking lot was this tree. And for 3 years, I watched the season of that tree. And that season of that tree would minister to me. It experienced life. It experienced death.
That's a dope analogy. I never heard that one before. I love it.
It experienced shedding, blooming. Not only that, but it experienced having birds on its branches. When there was leaves and life, squirrels climbing up and down, when it was experienced the falling or the shedding of its leaves, the blackbirds would come, those scavenger birds, and that just reminded me more of death. And I remember those birds used to try to dip at my head. They would go, and come at my head and stuff. And I would just sit there, and for 3 years, and that let me know that this was just a cycle I was going through. I'd never been through it before, but I knew it was just a cycle. Now, I didn't know when I was going to come out of it, but I knew I was going to come out of it. And so I began to talk with my psychologists and psychiatrists, my primary care doctor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something to live again. And they were like, are you ready to go back to work? I'm like, no, I'm not. I mean, I was paralyzed with fear. And I used to do these, exercises where I would have to go online to look for a job and fill out an application. And I could never get through it. I would be bawling before I could get through it. And on top of that,
I could speak to that probably because work was tied into your violence.
Yes.
Right.
And
so, yeah, that makes
and then the misuse of trust and betrayal, it was so deep. It ran so deep. And so I didn't have anything or anybody to turn to. And so my doctor asked me, he said, well, if you're not willing to go back to work right now, what is it that you think can help? And I just said running. Running saved my life before. It saved my life during the actual incident. And I'm going to turn to it again and fight to get my life back. And so I came up with this plan. There's a 50 states marathon club, and there's a couple in Conroe, Texas that started it. And so it's where you do 50 marathons in 50 states and you get a 50 states finisher medal, all this other stuff. And so I said, well, I'm going to take that idea and I'm going to do it, except I'm going to do it in 50 weeks, 50 states, because I needed to get out and live. I needed to get from up under the rock, up under the mountain I put myself under.
Makes sense.
I had withdrew from people. I stopped talking to people.
You know that I have a Forrest Gump question coming up, so I'm not going to say much yet, but that's where that came from because you just said
so
it.
I had to put myself in a very uncomfortable situation. Sure. And what was so sad is I did not want to be around people that looked like me, because
you mean black
the
people
violence
or
was
males?
Well, black people. So because it was 3 black men. And
who were the assailants?
Yes. And so I did not know who it was.
Trust. So I got you. Because you never really identified the people who brought violence towards you. Got it.
Yes. So I didn't know if I was around other Black people, always, I was hyper vigilant. I'm staring at people. People, what you staring at me for? So if I was around other people, I felt a little more safe. And so I wanted to, in running, that allowed me to have that environment, one. Two, there's with the runs, there's always some sort of security. Depending on the run, some of it is like the Boston Marathon, where they got everybody and their mama out there, from military to
That brings me to my next question, because
FBI.
I'm asking about the conditioning changes you had to do. Like, talk more like the physical. You shared a lot of the emotional just now, so just to change a little bit of gears. As you were recovering now from these five shots,
You're freezing up.
as you were recovering,
You back.
as you were recovering from, was it 5 shots that you got shot with?
Yes.
Okay, and the number 5 is still there.
Yeah.
How did you physically? Because I feel like when you're saying the part about not able to apply for the jobs, right? That's emotional attachment. Physical, like what we all say, get up and go to the gym, take a walk. That's really mental health 101. How did that conditioning change, though? Because you didn't just start like regular of us walking and walking our dogs. You're like training a marathon, the Boston Marathon. So talk to us about how that physical, because I feel like, this woman, Beyonce, I don't know if you heard of her. She comes from that kind of walk to like, and I can't control this, and I can control this. So I want to hear about conditioning.
So I was already like, that's how running saved my life with the weight loss. And so I was already running ultra marathons. So my favorite distance was 50 miles. So what it did physically to me is I wasn't able to do that anymore like that. My average pace for 40 miles on my training runs were like at 7 minutes, 2 seconds per mile for 40 miles. And so my level of fitness went downhill, which added more depression. Someone told me that I had a runner's depression, but I was in extreme pain from the bullets that were in the backside, because I got shot 4 times in the back area. And so one of the bullets is still in my right gluteus maximus, but I had other bullets. I had a bullet that was removed. I had a bullet that went through my leg, missed my femoral artery by 1 centimeter. So I got scar tissue. I got a bullet. I had a bullet in there that needed to get...
Black Forrest Gump. I'm sorry. I just have to say that. You said Maximus. Forrest also got shot in his ass. Just I didn't see that.
So physically, it was difficult. I had a high threshold of pain to begin with, but this took it to another level. So the pain was excruciating, but the mental, the mental and the emotional pain was even worse than the physical pain. So I was experiencing all that at one time. The physical pain for me, as much as it hurt then, as much as it was hurting during my quest, and as much as it hurt now, it was nothing compared to the emotional and mental that I experienced.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a bit about your who inspired you, right? Well, you said it already in your kind of opening. It was your kids, right? That's part of the preparation. But your mental consumption, who every day, once you got off that couch, now your son can't see you, now you're on this path. Who's that inspiration? What is it that you're reading? Is it a podcast? Is it a book? I know for me, I use a lot of just TV shows or whatever it is in my nighttime to be I can, we all have when we're in different seasons is what I say. Could you share about what, what you were taking in, what you were reading, other things that were helping you?
So I was focused on Psalms 19. Psalms 19 in the Bible. Yeah. And it talks about how the creation's voice or speech is going throughout the whole universe. And so it talks about the creation of God. And that's why I mentioned about the trees. I would go from the trees and look at the birds. I would look at the squirrels. I mean, ants, whatever it was. And I looked at how they lived. I mean, I'm sitting there for years and I'm looking at how they lived and how God was taking care of them. And I had to believe that he was going to take care of me. So every day, every hour of the day, it was just constantly the creation of God, looking at the creation of God. I
Pretty
wasn't
holistic.
even reading
Yeah, that's pretty
anything.
holistic. Like your mental consumption was just
Yeah,
the nature and the world around you.
yeah. Because
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't reading, I wasn't listening to anything, I wasn't watching anything. I was sitting in nature outside, one, because of the depression. I needed the sun. I needed the vitamin D from the sun. And two, I was depressed.
Well, you know,
I didn't need to be inside
you brought up
anywhere.
vitamin D. That's something I learned throughout my own like depression and being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I'm like, iron deficiency is something very known in the Black American society. We are so far from where we belong, which is the western side of Africa. My family's Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So even when you go back down to the Caribbean, certain parts in New Orleans, you can feel it. You can survive in certain pockets of where we're still good. But if you don't go there and you start to actively just lose vitamin D, your iron is not metastasizing, and the loss of iron is what makes you feel depressed. So when I asked the question,
Yeah.
I got diagnosed, I'm like, but did you guys do blood work? Or did you just go based off my actions? Like, oh no, we didn't run any blood. I'm like, well, I'm anemic. So maybe it
Yeah.
had something to do, and I had to diagnose, or even not even diagnose, but like figure out my own mental health, because I'm like, we've all
Well,
been depressed. I mean, we're Black people. There's nothing that we're all hype about out here. We're still fighting, but like it
and
never
that's what you
changed
got
our
to do.
physical lives. Like I was able to go to work, right? So I wanted to just put that nugget into the T
Yeah.
show guests. I mean, viewers and guests, that sometimes you just got to take it on your own to just find your own thing. You know what I mean? Like be brave enough to trust yourself.
And that's one of the things I talk about in my book is that I became the CEO of my own mental health and well-being. And so I started researching. I started looking for answers. I started going beyond what I knew with big pharma and throw a pill at this, throw a pill at that. And I needed that at that moment, but I also needed to stay connected. I would have my elders pray over me. And then I also, I needed to be responsible for my own health. So at one point, I remember I contacted all my doctors, my physical therapists. I had a massage therapist, and I was like, look, this is what I'm going to do. And I put that quest together to take back my life. And in taking back my life, I was taking back my mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, my entire being. And I told my doctors, and I told my physical therapist, I told my massage therapist, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to need your help. And I need information, and I'm going to make the decisions. And if you don't want to be part of what I'm doing for me, I understand. Please excuse yourself. But I'm not going to be in this position. I'm not staying here. It was a miserable existence. And so the pain, I couldn't do anything about. The damage is the damage. If it was something I could do something about with the gluteus maximus, where the scar tissues, the bullet in there, if it was something that I could do about that, I would have done it. However, everything else was controllable. And so I fought, and I actually found studies online from different universities. One of the things that I found out with post-traumatic stress disorder is that massage therapy and running are the two biggest components that help PTSD.
Massage therapy came up at this event I was at last Saturday, and that's exactly what the girl was saying. And I was like, I hope I can find more people to interview that can speak to that. So I love
Yeah.
that you just
Well,
said
there's
that.
a whole study out there,
Well, people don't
and
read
I sent it
studies,
to my.
Aaron. They listen to podcasts. It's like, they just
So
don't.
I sent it to my doctors, and they were like, "Where do you find this?" I said, "I don't have nothing but time.
My point
I don't
exactly.
sleep."
Part of our mental
So
problems, I get to bed,
yeah,
but also, yeah, I hear you though. We have a lot of work to do, so it's like I'm like that too. Like, I'm not sleeping tonight, maybe tomorrow. Like, I love that. I
yeah,
want
I'm
to keep
up
our conversation
anyway.
going a little bit more, and I don't want us to get caught up with the time and everything else. So
Yes,
loved everything you shared. I'm so happy you brought up the make sure you guys stretch. We all talk about meditation, but we're moving meditation beyond just sitting down on a yoga mat. No, get stretch. Like you're holding stuff in your body. Aaron said it. You already know. As a criminal reform activist, gun control is deemed an epidemic as far as how much damage can be done to the body with minimal pressure, right? Do you
yes,
think gun owners, manufacturers listen to people like you?
no. Very few people want to listen to people like me. They want to have experts in that speak about something that they've never been through.
The experts don't have
Um,
7 years of depression, though.
yeah. And so they don't want to actually have someone who had to make life and death decisions in a split second that went through what I went through to actually talk about certain things, because it brings too much accountability. It sheds too much light. Now, I reached out to the gun controls lobbyists. I reached out to the police, cities. I reached out to schools, educators, companies, and you know, let's just say I'm the most unwanted black man in America. But
The
I
most
will
unwanted
speak to
black woman.
anybody. Yeah.
We're not alone,
So
friend. We all feel like that. We feel like it's like, again, I come from like an all white educational background. People don't know as black people like what it is to be token black for real, where you are holding
yes,
the entire race in these given moments. Like, because a lot of black people have not had that experience. Just keep it real. That's why I think I voted for President Obama, right? It was very easy because I understood him. I wasn't him. So much people, it was like, I think that's what made me a Black Lives Matter activist, is because I love black people so much and y'all don't even love y'all. So I'm gonna teach you to love yourself, like Black Joy and the power of us, and because it's like y'all are
yes.
you're not in the march though. I'm out here crying and you didn't even step up, right? So it's like they hate me, white people and black ones. It's like, but some
And
of us
you know
gotta do
what?
it.
Yeah. And so you're going to be marginalized. You're going to be ostracized, and even among blacks within a company, people wasn't even talking to me because the company don't talk to him, type thing. And it was
Oh, we from on
crazy.
the plantation, we know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because, oh, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want this. I don't want that. And it's like,
AKA, I don't
really?
want massa to make it. It's the
In
same thing.
that part
That's why they didn't
right
run
there.
away, because you want
Yeah.
to be a slave.
And so now I will say this. I've had people that will talk to me. I've had a guy I met at Starbucks. I was telling him about what I went through. He was on the committee for his company that put their active shooter plan together and everything. After he listened to me and talked to me, he went and shared information about me and podcasts that I've been on, my book. And he told the committee, we got to redo this whole thing. And I didn't know that at the time. But after they redid everything, he seen me at Starbucks again. He's like, man, I want you to know, because of you, we redid our whole active shooter, what would happen, how we're going to treat people.
Yeah,
And
it's
the one
exciting.
factor is that once these things happen, you're no longer treated as a human being. And so, especially when it happened to me, was before the whole Facebook Live and social media, where everybody pulls out their camera. And so, it's been a lot easier these days to hold people accountable because they can't sweep things under the rug.
That's how I feel about my collegiate experience as a black person in a white school. There was no cameras. I started Facebook. I needed twpost.liu.edu to even be on
You
Facebook.
know?
You couldn't post pictures. It was just statuses. It was really for homework. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It was Ivies and private white schools, and that's all I got on Facebook. So to end up, I totally share that. Whereas like people don't even know what I know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what you could see, and I only started recording in the last 5 years. Like, I totally get that.
And so, when you have already you got the criminals that's trying to kill people, and then on top of that, you have the company that treating me like I was the one that did this to myself. And then you have the city of Houston that's just covering up everything with the organized crime unit. And then you have the DA's office. Well, the police didn't submit anything to us. And the police saying, well, we gave it to the DA's office. They haven't done anything with the case. And you know who all the players are. But because the company I worked for has billions and billions and billions of dollars and very active in the political field, of course, their will is being put the most important. And so, but I will say this, I've had a company reach out to me, and it's ConocoPhillips. I've been at their establishment here in Houston, their corporate office, and participated in sort of like a fair, if you will, for disabled people who have businesses, or like for me, I'm a running coach. I speak. I have my book. So that they've invited me back, and this will be the third year that I'm
like
going
a
this year.
leadership kind of speak to people vibes. Yeah.
And so I'm speaking to employees. They're telling me, there are people that are stressed behind these active shooter drills in a company, and they ain't never been through anything. And I talk to a lot of people, and it's just like, wow. And I've been through this, and people haven't been through it. And so you kind of get like where people feel like maybe he's over exaggerating sometime. Like my doctor, my psychologist, he tells me, he asks me questions, and it's good that he asks me questions because it keeps me accountable, right? But he admitted one day that he thought I was exaggerating because, like, for New Year's and the 4th of July, I go stay at an airport because I don't have to worry about the fireworks. And so one day I called him, and I was up under a car hidden. It was Christmas, and somebody was letting fireworks off. And so I dive up under the car, and I'm afraid to come out. And even though I finally realized that it's just fireworks, it's like I got truth over here. I got this big wall right here. And then over here, I got all this fear, anxiety, panic. And so I'm talking to him, and so he's thinking that these type of episodes, I was over exaggerating. Well, one day he comes in and he shares this with me. And he said, I got to apologize to you about something. And I said, well, what you got to apologize to me about? And he says, I tend to sometimes think that maybe you were over exaggerating about the 4th of July stuff and New Year's. And he said, last night, or excuse me. No, he said last night, it was the 4th of July. I had an appointment with him the next day. He said his wife was in the kitchen washing dishes, and they have a window over the sink that looks out into the neighborhood. And somebody had threw some fireworks towards the window, and they went off and scared the living daylight out of her.
Yeah.
And she couldn't sleep the whole night.
No, yeah.
She was in panic and fear. And he said he looked at his wife that night, and the next day she was still scared, even though she knew it was just fireworks. She told her husband she felt like she was being shot at.
I love calling races. Finish times and everything. I just look at runners and see. God has given me that ability. Here come two ladies. Let's see. You're not that far now. You're going to be a little over 17, but you're doing a great job. Breathe, breathe. You're doing good, man. You got that sub 18 you wanted. Keep that head up. Breathe easy. Pump them arms. I thought it was two ladies, but it was a lady and a guy. Here he is. Third place man coming in. I see you, big baby. Sub 20 on your deck. Sub 20 on your deck. Here comes second place female. Let's see where she is. Yep. She got sub 20 on the deck too. Sub 20 on your deck. You got it. You got it. You can get sub 19 if you finish strong. You're doing good. Breathe through. You're looking good. You're looking strong. Yeah, I'm on point. I know what I'm talking about. I love this. I'm just, oh my God. The fact that I can't telling you, I miss this stuff. I really miss running. Okay, we got a couple of guys and then we got the third female. Let's go, fellas, let's go. Sub 20 on your deck. Third female coming through. Breathe easy, relax, keep your head up. You got a sub 20 on your deck. Let's finish strong. It's a little warm out here for him. But yeah, like I was saying, this stuff is invigorating for me. It is a shame that I did not love running coming up. I really want to get back to this level of running. If God allows me, I'll never complain about being tired during the run. Let's look at some more. There she is, fourth place female. You good, baby girl, you good. Let's see what you got. See what you got on deck. 21:35 for the fourth place female. Woo-hoo! They starting to roll in. This is a fast course here. Good job, man, good job. Yeah, he out running with his bigger brother. Just keeping up with his bigger brother, that's all. Help him on in there, little brother, help him on in. Good job, good job. All right, y'all, that's it. I'm gonna get everybody else on camera. Pictures, that is.
Recovery for any trauma is difficult for any human being. Can you share how your mindset helped you gain strength after surviving violence?
From the time that I was staring down the face of a barrel of a rifle, I began to talk to the Lord. So in those situations that there's nothing that you can do for yourself. And I literally had to come to the fact that I was going to be murdered. And so I was only thinking about my children, thinking about who's going to tell them, how they were going to respond, who's going to help them through thinking about how their father had got murdered. After surviving it, however, that did not stop. It was just my total focus, and the fact that every day I will wake up, if I even slept at all, I would go outside and I would look at the earth, I would look at the birds, spiders, animals, everything, and just realize that if these things are still here, that my situation I had hope in my situation. And that's really the shift of the mindset. that kept me going.
I love that word hope. I feel like it's a word that we don't use a lot and we don't hear a lot. And I think stories like yours, why it's critical to me to bringing you onto the T show, it's like hopefulness is powerful. And I think we need to like re-energize our society with hope. You don't always have to know. Hope is very close to faith in my life. So thank you so much for sharing that. Let's move on a little bit because you are a marathon runner. You get other people to run in marathons. Let's talk about how the conditioning now has changed and what you had to do after now surviving this attack.
Well, I was an ultra marathoner, and I would pace marathons and half marathons in Texas. Only in Houston, I wouldn't travel to go pace a half marathon. So I was pacing marathons because I was an ultra marathoner, which is anything over 31.6, or excuse me, 31.7 miles technically. My favorite distance was 50-mile runs. So after that, my ability to run kind of like took a turn for the worse because I had damage in my right gluteus maximus. I had a bullet removed. And then I still have one in my right gluteus maximus, which is causing my right leg to experience progressive muscle weakness. So the longer I live with the situation, the weaker my right leg is getting. And then my left leg has to overcompensate, which causes other injuries. And so it has been a rocky road for the last several years to try to come to a balance to where I can actually, like, I literally just started training again after taking a year off, where the injuries had got so bad that I was on crutches for 5 months. So I kind of like vicariously live through people like yourself. If you don't run, I'll try to encourage you to run and experience the benefits of running for your life, and then watch you fall in love with the whole process that I have come to love and enjoy, even with the pain that I'm in. But I'm not back to the actual running an entire marathon. I can run, or I can walk a half, but it's kind of very, very difficult for me still at this moment.
Got you. That makes sense. And I love I know you were like talking about me, like you said me. I did like a 3K, a 5K. I'm like in that. I don't know. That's not a
The
marathon. That's like
5K, the
that's like a
3.1 miles.
version of it. But I
Congratulations,
trained
you're
my
almost
ass
there.
off. That was years ago. I trained my and I don't know if I completed it. Didn't walk the last mile.
Years ago. Listen,
But
you're in
I'm
one of
saying
the
you're
best
motivating me.
marathon states, New York, and you should be running the New York Marathon, which is like one of the best marathons around the globe.
I gotta build myself up to that.
Okay.
Let's move on. Thank you so much for sharing that, though. I think you definitely motivated me just hearing you. So you have the coach energy for sure. Who has helped inspire you in your darkest hour?
Wow. My darkest hour, I mean, just knowing the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior, knowing that I would never be without hope, because I remember my doctor asking me what was my hope in, and I responded to him, not a what, but a who. He said, well, who? I said, Jesus Christ. And I said, because he lives, I know that I'll live again, even in this life and what I've gone through. I said, I don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but I have hope. And you mentioned hope earlier, but that's what's missing in our world. That's why people are doing what they're doing. They have no hope of anything. And so the hope is very important. And then blind runners, the blind running community, man, if you go watch those guys and gals run, you ask yourself, what are you complaining about?
Sorry, my mic was still muted, but I was saying, like, yeah, I've always been that kind of person. Like, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm just sharing this. You guys listening to the T show. Comparing yourself to people who are in worse situations than you, even though I've been in really, really bad situations where it's like I looked around and I'm like, you're literally at rock bottom. But even when I was at rock bottom, I'm like, you still have yourself though. Like people have lost their mind. I've lost mine. Like, like at every level of rock bottom, there were people that were lower than me, which is that whole catch-22, right? It's like less about judging another person.
Yes.
Just look around and you most are like, you're not alone. And that gives me courage. When I know I'm not the only person going through this recession, going through this craziness, going through the pandemic, that in turn, which is community. I'm community over competition all day.
Yes, yes.
So I love how you brought that in. I like that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more for you here. The running reminds me of like my favorite film, Forrest Gump. You keep saying gluteus maximus, but I'm going to tell people he got shot in his ass. That's in the movie. People don't know what that is. Gluteus maximus.
That's what everybody says.
Just like your ass. But that's like Forrest also in the movie went to war. If you know the movie, I mean, you should have known the movie if you're an American at this point. Is it more than just the thing though, right? Because like in running in that story, Forrest, like that's the running that I know. Like I just got up one day and I wanted to go for a little run. And he ran across the entire country. Like we all need that though. Like I'm just gonna keep running. When I got to one, I'm figured I run this far. I might as well turn around and keep on. That's very relatable.
Keep going.
Too. We got to the border in Canada. Harry is like, you know what? Let's just keep going. We don't know. Let's get to the North Pole. So that's what me and running, right? Like there's a running thing and just a thing called culture. Speak to now to like what that psychology is though, because I'm not a runner and I'm just a excited person. What is it? What is the thing that's happening while you're running? What was Forrest doing?
So we've become a sedentary society where we're used to sitting so much. And your gluteus maximus, your butt that I got shot in, that was one of the places. Okay, I did get shot. I did get shot on the left side of my torso where my rib was, but 4 times in the back area, 3 times in the glute, for sure. But running, man, we were made to move. We were made to run. We were made to climb, jump. And your body is like, it reminds me of the timing belt in the engine. You can have all the great components of an engine, but if your timing belt is broke, your engine is not going to run effectively.
I'm in love with this analogy as a teacher. Keep going.
So running ties everything in your life together. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, physiologically. I mean, once you get past the laziness of not moving, that first 3 months to the soreness and the pain and everything else, your sleep is better. One of the most amazing things I learned about running is the majority of single runners, people that are single, that run, are celibate because the runner's high is better than having sex. So it's like your body doesn't.
I get that a lot. I lived in the Hollywood Hills, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah. So your body is like not craving what it doesn't need because you're giving it something that's way better. And so that's one thing that I learned, and by experience. I read it and I learned it by experience. But when I tell you your thinking, your cognitive skills, everything becomes so much better. Whatever you think you're doing great right now, if you pick up running just 3 times a week, you will go so much further in life than you can ever imagine.
I think when I study business and stuff, I think most of the successful people in my life that I've read and looked up to, they have some type of regimen, fitness. There's a big part of their life. I mean, like Kim Kardashian is one of that. She's out there, like, look at her regimen. It's part of it's like, it is something there though. Oprah, like whoever, it could be Beyonce, whatever it's going to be. But
yeah,
even like Michelle Obama talked about that when she talked about mental health in the pandemic. Like, at least I got to go to my gym. You know what I mean? So like, there's definitely a working out aspect. I can, like I said, attest to definitely when I got to Hollywood and I was like just at that space 30 years old. I never used to hike before. I didn't live in that kind of space. I'm sure there's hikes here, and I'm going to say that in New York. But it's not so just, here's the Laurel Canyon Trail. You can go in that space. Like people who knew me, they were like, first of all, my spiritual level went from here to here. It's like, they're like, because you're running in those hills. I'm like, I think it's just a movement though. It's like, God's just like, yeah, you're on it now. Now I'm going to send you more, and it was
more
like,
than a movement.
Doors were just like exploding open. Like me, my husband, SAG, things that people are like, how'd you get that? I'm like, because holistically everything changed. I lost weight just because Hollywood happened to be a hill. So you just walk on hills without knowing that you're on a
You
hill.
have a spirit. You have a spirit, you have a body, and you have a soul. And most people in our country, all we're feeding is our bodies. Our souls are dying and our spirit is just, we're not even connected. So when you get there, and even if you weightlifting or anything else, it's when you get to the cardio part, when you get to that cardio part where your heart rate and your mitochondria got to kick in, and the exercise began to change you on a cellular level. You just, I'm telling you, you're so heightened and you're so awakened.
Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. Like, what do you mean? You know? All right, cool. Because we can stay here forever. Let's move on. One more question. How has all of these experiences, because like I said, let's go back, friends, because we started off as mass shootings and it wasn't, but that's what we do here at the T Show. We take stories that are traumatic and then we come out as lightning bolts at the end. How has all of these experiences as a run coach shaped your life experiences in general?
Woo-hoo. So it's a lifestyle for me. It's not something I do. It's someone who I am. It's part of my being. It's part of my DNA. I've unlocked my purpose. I've unlocked my passion. I've unlocked my plan. And when you're focused, single eye focused, there's so many voices out here trying to pull you every which way. And when you don't know which way to go, you easily pull. But when you got your focus and you know that you know that you know, man, nobody can stop you. And then everything starts falling in line. And so as the running servant, I know what my purpose is and where I'm headed.
He's after the freeze in Texas. Yeah, that water cold, y'all. I just want you to know that it's cold. But I'm going to feel better. That's for sure. Peace out, running servant. Let's do this.
I love that you said that. My grandmother raised me in my culture, Trinidad and Tobago. It's very much about what you put forth in the world is what you already know the world's going to send you back. We're big on universal karma, these kinds of one hand washes the other, the way, things will catch up to you, whatever. So love that. Love how it's real life transformation. And I think so many people that do podcasts and blogs and whatever, we have Instagram and we don't even know, it's that. You hit a human level of Eureka, let me go and tell everybody what, And I think so many people say oh, I'm not about to do this. I don't think we live in a world where there's too many self-help books, as much as it seems like that. I'm like, there's a lot of trash out here still. There's a lot of people selling stuff that's not legitimate. So if you really are going through anything that I said or Aaron says, and you just heard us and it's you know what? They started with nothing. I started my business here, the Red Eye Media Group, because I couldn't find a job in the recession. I had a master's degree. Nobody was hiring. Nobody cared. They didn't want me. I was like, what am I do? Keep crying and telling everybody. I'm like, yeah, I cried. I also launched an EIN, got a business. Then nobody could stop me. I guess I'm gonna just work for free, whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's that is how you really start something passionately. It doesn't just come. I want you to say that quote you said before about why people don't get things done. You're your percentage of wanting to change. I want to close out with that one. That was a good one. Change comes from something you were saying.
Well, the change comes from within. So there's a lot of self-help books out, but if you drop the self off of it and just start helping, it's going to open you up. It's spiritually, emotionally, physically, physiologically. It's just going to open you up. Where you suffer the most, where your challenge is, where your fear is. The reason why all that's there is because it's an area that's designed to pull out of you what's in you, not to put in you what isn't. And so
a drain, draining. Yeah, when we say draining my energy, we mean that for real.
Yeah. So if you don't confront it, you're never going to feel fulfilled. And I'm telling you, so it's like the analogy, you cast your bread upon the water and in many days it'll return unto you. But the person
never heard that one before.
Yeah.
No, never heard that one.
So the person that's concerned about whether they're going to, and because they're holding on to it,
they don't let it go out so that it can multiply. Have you ever put bread on water and see what it does?
No, I eat bread.
Yeah, it separates. It expands, and a lot of fish and a lot of birds and a lot can eat off of it. But if you just keep that little small loaf to yourself, well, you'll eat off of it, but then you will die. But if you feed what can be fed, then now you got fish you can eat from, you got birds you can eat from, you got seaweed, you got so much more that the system, the ecosystem will give back to you. And so that's why I say take
my
the
science
self.
words, ecosystem.
Yeah.
I taught my students about
So
that today. I'm
take the
teaching earth
self
science.
off of the self-help and start helping.
Love that.
Start
All right.
helping where you're hurting, and
Absolutely.
you'll get your healing. And that's what I found out and what I suffered.
I love that. Any other final thoughts? Anything that our audience members can do to tap in with you, how they can connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm at The Running Servant on Instagram, or you can Google The Running Servant, and you got to put the Running Servant on there, because there's a lot of running servants, but I'm The Running Servant. So I'm the one and only, the real, cheese, craft, and macaroni. So, or you can connect with me on Facebook at Aaron Burros, or you can just reach out to me at any of my events when you see me. I'm here for everybody, whether it's one person or 1,000 people. I'm here to serve.
I love that. And God bless you for that, because like I said, not a lot of people would go through what you've been through and still have any strength to care about anybody else. I studied violence for real. So thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like so many gems have been dropped. It's going to be a really good one, you guys. Make sure you watch all the chapters. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that's it. We'll catch you guys on another episode of The T Show. See you later.
Hey, one thing before you go. You see we matching, right? The colors, the skin.
I do see that.
I'm just saying.
I
that
love
wasn't
that.
Coordinated.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It's just a vibe. It's just an energy. It's what we're talking about, you guys.
Yeah, connection. When you worry about other people more than yourself, you get connected with the same type of people, and your purpose flourishes.
Rags in the air. Rags in the air. Rags in the air.